Hey, good morning. Are we live, everybody?
Yes,
I think
we
we're
are.
live. This is Ashley and Brenda here
Hello,
for
hello.
Sunrise Extra. We're taking over for Nina this morning because she has a breakfast, the Red Cross Heroes Breakfast in Vancouver to MC. So you guys will have to deal with us this morning.
Oh, Paul, producer Paul, will you
that's
hand
a
me
pretty
my
shot.
phone?
Yes, I will.
I left my phone.
By the way, we have champagne, we have mimosas.
You know
and a
what?
little
It's
couch.
been a long week,
It
so I
has.
thought, why not do something kind of ripping off Hoda and Kathy Lee?
Why not?
And we've got the little celebratory champagne. Also, I have to say, I'm so proud of you.
Why?
You have been working your tail off. You're doing a big move.
Yes.
You've got twins.
Yep.
You're juggling your household. And so you're going to be off on spring break
That's why I
next
need
week.
the champagne.
You know, to kind of do all that.
Yes,
so I thought
we're
you
moving.
deserved a little something, something.
Thank you. I love it. Okay, yeah, we're I'm going to be off next week because we're moving. So we're in the midst. Our house is I'd say in shambles. It's in boxes, and we bought a kind of a fixer-upper old farmhouse out in Clark County. So
with some acreage.
with a couple acres. Don't know why we decided to do that when our twins are 7 months old.
I know, but Grant and Isla are going to have lots of room to roam at
That's
some
true.
point.
Very true. Okay, I'm pulling up the stream here.
Okay, I should probably do the same thing.
You guys, good morning to everybody. Whatever social media platform you're on, leave us comments, questions, just shout out, say hi. Oh yeah, let's start with this. Let's start with that spacewalk, which is super cool. A shot from the International Space Station. I'm trying to pull up my script here just so I make sure I get their names right, but it's Nick Hague, I believe, and Anne McLean.
From Spokane.
Anne McLean from Spokane.
Yeah.
How cool. Spokane native. They're on the International Space Station replacing some batteries on the solar array, on the array panels, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
So they're out there doing their first spacewalk of 2019. And how often do you get a shot like this to talk about and look at?
You don't. I mean, it's crazy when I look at that because it seems like they're standing still, even though they're hurtling through space at some insane mile per hour.
It's so awesome to see. All right, okay, we want to invite Christine Pitawanich over. Come join us. I don't know if you want to sit in the couch here.
Yeah, no, we got a chair there
on the
for you.
chair.
You got it.
Mimosa.
Sit in the chair here. Gosh, look at these mimosa cups. Oh my goodness.
So,
aren't you glad you came on a Friday?
I am.
So Christine, this morning you were doing a story on Juuls and vaping among teenagers because the stats are pretty startling. I mean, they're saying like 1 in 3 teenagers are vaping, and you kind of have an example here.
Right. Okay. So this is a Juul, and it's a type of e-cigarette, and it's pretty small actually. If you take a look at it, I mean, it can be undone. This is a little pod. It has whether it's menthol or another flavor, and then you just hook it up, and it's really the size of a USB.
Yeah.
And it seems that more teens are starting to use them. 1 in 5, like I said, high schoolers. Some studies say 1 in 3 even. And so, of course, this is super worrisome for parents. Some who say they're worried about their kids as young as 12 who may be vaping. And the thing is, some of these contain nicotine.
Well, they do, and a lot of it. You said 1 cartridge is how much nicotine compared to a cigarette?
So at least for the Juul in this one, this is equivalent to 20 cigarettes. Yeah, and what it is supposed to do is help people who are addicted to smoking maybe wean themselves off by using this gradually. But the thing is, kids are going through this just like that.
That's crazy.
I don't know about you guys. I mean, I know it was a different time when I grew up, but back in the, I guess it would be 70s, that was before the big push against the tobacco companies. And you could go into vending machines and buy cigarettes.
Wow.
But you know what? We were probably 11 or 12 and we wanted to be older, and so that is a huge thing with kids seeing all these adult things and they want to imitate it, and that's easy to hide.
Yeah, exactly. So this you could put in a pocket. The way you charge it actually is pretty amazing. I mean, this is a little USB right here, and all you do is you just stick it into a laptop.
It is a USB.
I know, exactly, and you just charge it, and that's how you do it. And then, the smoke or the water vapor, it doesn't smell like smoke. It smells fruity, and they can blow it down their sleeves, their shirts, and that just dissipates it even more.
Is it pretty quickly that it would go away? I mean, you breathe it out, and then it's just like a second or two, and then the scent disappears?
I have not personally vaped, so I don't know, but from the videos that I've seen, yeah, I mean, it disappears pretty quick. And, some doctors have told us about you know, the water vapor, because people out there think, oh, vape,
it's not dangerous.
Exactly. Vape pens, e-cigarettes, not as dangerous as cigarettes. But the thing is, these haven't been around that long, and doctors are saying, you know, we don't really know what water vapor on a continual basis does to you. So that's one of the issues.
I was just looking up, we had a viewer voice poll this morning, and we were asking people, do they think that these e-cigarettes should be banned altogether? And last I looked, when we were ending the newscast, a lot of people said yes. The majority of people were saying yes, weren't they?
No, I think they were saying no.
Oh, was it no?
Producer Sam, do you remember the results of our megaphone?
Voice. Let me see.
If it was that people, oh, we have it.
Oh, right there.
Oh, you're right. Okay, early on it was no, and I think you're right, Brenda. It switched to the majority of people now saying yes, they should be banned altogether. Well, and San Francisco, Christine, just actually is proposing some legislation like that.
Well, yeah, the city of San Francisco, if the measure passes there, would be the first city in the United States to have these restrictive measures. So basically, a ban on e-cigarettes in the city of San Francisco if it passes, unless it is FDA reviewed.
Interesting.
And that's the thing as well. The FDA is trying to pass some sort of regulations as well to try to figure this industry out, because it's so new and it's become so popular. But yeah, Juul and other e-cigarette manufacturers are under a lot of pressure, I think, and a lot of scrutiny right now as the FDA tries to figure out how to corral this, and parents as well trying to figure out how to help their kids. And so some of them are taking their kids to drug testing labs and getting their urine tested just in case to see if they have nicotine in their system.
Well, no, I mean, like you said, it could take years to really study this thoroughly, but I can't imagine it's a good thing for these, as you said earlier, young developing brains.
Right, especially the nicotine.
Yep.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And once you get hooked on that, I mean, look at the adults who cannot get off of it. I would drug test my kid if I thought that was the, you know,
I was reading something online as well, and this is not something I included in my report, but I was just, reading some other news articles about it. And it said that kids who started really young on vape pens and maybe got hooked on the nicotine here, once you looked at them as older teenagers, 17, 18 years old, they had switched to cigarettes. But that was one study that I saw online. So I'm not all the way sure about the, how concrete it is. But that is something that speaks a little bit to the nicotine use.
While we have you here, because you kind of covered another story this morning, spring break travel.
Yeah.
I know we had Tim Gordon out at the airport earlier, and you guys, did you see the lines? It was just packed there. It was nuts.
Yeah, they're saying like nearly 1 million people will be going through PDX from like March 21st to the first week of April.
Wow. Yep.
And that's amazing. And I remember during my live hit during the show, we were talking about a brand new app called At the Gate.
I love this.
Everyone was like, tell me more.
Oh my gosh, it makes you even more lazy, right? So basically it's this app, you can download it. Today it premieres, and you can order food and other products through this app if you don't feel like walking just a little,
or if you're tight, if your connection isn't making it, because I don't want to eat the food that they serve on the airline anymore.
So funny.
I will bring my own on.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I think it's like a handful of places, like Kenny and Zoogs. I want to say Panda Express is there, and one or two other.
And they bring it to you just right
at
your gate?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there a big cost for that?
I have no idea.
I wonder.
I don't know. But
I'm not willing to.
Somebody's going to pay it. Somebody's going to pay it.
So now you're making me think about food, and you're making me think about the champagne. So Ashley has a little bit of a phobia. She doesn't like to open the bottles, and I actually don't either, because that big pop. Can you do it? Come on.
I'm actually really scared. I don't know if I've ever, guys, I don't know if this is smart. I'm not sure if this is a good idea.
No, I'm certain it's not smart. But the girls with boots have to stick together, so we're going to help Miss Korslien.
Where's Rod Hill?
I don't even know if I know how to do this. You
don't. I don't know why. I just have a phobia.
I know. I'm getting anxious. Just.
Are you? I know it is a little bit.
Are you? I don't know if this.
No. I'm just taking the.
Okay.
By the way, in case anyone's wondering why we're having a mimosa 7:08. It's because first it's our lunchtime. I'm almost off the clock in a couple minutes because I'm off next week on vacation. I'm moving to a new home in the area,
Come on, Rodney.
and we're going to celebrate with a toast.
Don't point it at anybody.
You open this.
Yeah,
Here,
you
come-
open
come
this
sit.
because they wanted me to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm too scared.
This is big time, man. We
Yes,
got a
it
couch.
If you ruin this couch,
Am I
that
opening
could be-
this?
Can you point it elsewhere though?
This way.
Like
This
that.
is Costco Prosecco. We went all out, didn't we?
Yeah, I did.
Go this way.
Costco stuff's usually pretty good, right? Wait, hold on.
Oh,
Let me
my
pull out
goodness.
my handkerchief. Whoa, there you go.
Oh, that's awesome. Yay. Happy
good
Friday.
Thanks for coming in
Would
and
you
doing
do
that.
the honors?
So, how many are we pouring here?
Well, there are 4 of us. How many do
Everybody's
you
having
want?
some- We're doing,
Sure.
we're going to add some orange juice, about like
Yes,
that?
we are, but that's fine.
Morning mimosas.
While we do
Okay.
this, can we talk about let's talk about your Facebook story because I found that interesting.
Oh, yeah,
What to stop doing on Facebook immediately, like things that people do that are annoying, or just
the first one was, please don't post cryptic things. That worries me. You get like a vague something, like
Vague
something is
booking.
Yeah.
vague booking is what it's called,
Vague
and
booking?
it's worrisome, but then it's annoying. Don't do that. Don't post weird medical photos of your maladies.
I
and
have
then
friends doing that.
Ask, does
Hey.
anybody like recognize
wow.
this rash? And that's kind of gross.
I actually don't mind that. I look at it and I study it. And I think to myself, I don't know. Have I seen that before?
yeah, but I have friends who post like photos of their kids, like rashes and different things, and I'm
I
like,
totally
no,
have friends that
can't
do
put it
that
on
too.
Facebook.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, won't be one of those. Okay.
The one though that Ashley helped me out with, and this seriously drove me nuts for months. I was added to a Facebook group without my permission, and then my phone blew up. We could not. I didn't know how to turn it off, and it's called Let's Go Dancing. So it was like, Armando wants you to go dancing, and Kate wants you to go dancing. I'm like, I don't want to dance.
Brenda, you should go dancing.
But she like showed me where to kind of shut
That
it
is
off,
super
so.
annoying though, when you have those dings all the time
Yes.
when everyone is responding and you just want to get out. Yeah.
Yep. Hey, good morning to Joanne. She says, cheers. Darlene says, hi, ladies. And Rod, probably Rod. Darlene, good morning.
Probably.
I shouldn't assume.
Joanne says to get a towel when opening the
you.
champagne, but Rod did just fine.
did.
So,
Perfect.
hey, if you guys have any comments or questions for us, leave them below. And while we toast, why don't you, to a happy Friday, tell us about your Rod on the Road adventure this week.
Oh, yeah, so we went out to...
Cheers, you
happy,
guys.
Happy Friday,
guys.
everybody.
Happy Friday.
Friday. So you remember what a beautiful day Tuesday was. It was sunny. It was in the 70s when we went down to Silverton, which I was excited about because that whole, I don't know what it is, but I just find that Mount Angel / Silverton area to be so charming.
It is
you know?
charming.
And then, and I hadn't been to downtown Silverton and spent time in quite a few years, but it's thriving. I mean, there weren't
such a
open
cute town.
we're not open storefronts or a lot of people out on the street. We were down there between 10 and noon. And then this one place which we featured in our story called Whimsy's, which is on the corner. You have to go in.
It's so darling.
If you're down there. Yeah, it's like your classic, I don't know, 1950s type tourism store where they have the chocolate bar and then they have the little toy section for kids and they have greeting cards, knickknacks, you know, just fun stuff. A
Yeah.
little bit of everything. And then, of course, the huge gnome that you can buy for $2,300.
No, this
that
is
they featured
literally
in their
a
shop.
big old statue.
Massive. I don't think I saw you eat any food, which usually that's kind of the highlight of your. You love to go out, try new food.
I
Did
do.
you eat anything there?
I didn't.
That's what he talks about
I
every
don't know
week.
why I
I
didn't.
know.
Why didn't I do that?
I don't know.
Because I
were
fell in love
distracted by
with
the
the
people.
charm.
Yeah, and you talked to one man and said, "I'm born and raised here." I
Yeah.
mean, that was kind of
cool.
just sweet.
And we met a lady, she wasn't in our story, but she honeymooned at the falls there some 40 years ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they've settled there, her and her husband. So that was kind of a
Very
cute
cool.
romantic story.
I
But
love it.
interesting to hear multiple people telling us it's kind of becoming one of those weekend tourism spots to go spend a day, especially when the weather's nice and you take the beautiful drive out into the countryside and they have the stores to relax. You can go to Silver Falls State Park, you can go up to the Oregon Garden and
So you
good little
said
spot.
Sunday was going to be nice. Maybe, I mean,
Yeah.
it did kind of inspire me to want to take a road trip because I grew up in McMinnville.
All right.
That was a small town back then. It's grown too with wine country and stuff, but seeing Silverton made me want to head that way.
About 10,000 people now. And also the first gentleman, he didn't want to be on camera. We talked for quite a while. But he told the story that's probably fairly familiar with some of these small towns. Starts off as a farming community, an egg town, if you will, and now has been forced to find different ways to transform itself.
Yeah.
And for Silverton, the winning recipe seems to be, it's kind of becoming that little tourism spot.
You know, Joanne asked about a good coffee house in Silverton. What was the one we showed this morning? Do you guys remember?
It's right on the corner, and I should know the answer. It's in my notes.
Townhouse.
Townhouse Coffee House?
I think you're right.
Like
it's in my notes in the newsroom.
Did you actually
it's right on
drink
the
coffee there?
She offered, but we were. You know what? You know why we didn't eat and drink?
Why?
It was a day that we were fairly short-staffed photographer-wise, so we were kind of under the gun to go there and get our interviews and do our story, and then get back. So we didn't have that extra hour that we usually just kind of hang out. But she has a fun, was it at lunchtime? They have a women's group, or was it, no, it's an early morning breakfast crowd. I think it's several times a week, a bunch of women meet at that coffee bar.
Oh, cute, yeah.
And
You can join our women's group.
well, I think yes, apparently I'm an honorary member.
Kristen did say, good morning, ladies, and Rod. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, do you want to give us a
Thank
look
you.
at the forecast? Because a lot of Oregon schools out for spring break next week.
Yes. And that starts, I think, Drew Carney's, where his kids go to school, they actually had today off.
Yeah.
So I guess for
West
some
Lucky
schools,
kids.
it starts today. Anyway, 41 degrees our early morning number, and today's tale is that weather front will be coming in, and it brings some steady rain by lunchtime. So between about noon and 3 o'clock, fairly steady rain over the Rose City. We'll be in the mid-50s, then that moves on, and it's just a few scattered showers this evening. There's just not much going on tomorrow. My buddies and I we're playing Eastmoreland Golf Course. Tomorrow morning, we're teeing off at 8. I think we have a good chance to get the entire round in, which will be done about noon without any rain.
Yeah.
But eventually there will be some scattered showers pop tomorrow.
Hey, Rod, question from James Brown. Anyone know where the switch is to turn on the bloom to my apple and cherry tree?
Isn't that nuts?
Can you do that for him? Just flip it on.
We have the red buds that are coming out now, but I want to say we did a story on the news this week, but I want to say it's 2 to 4 weeks behind schedule due to the bloom in our state due to the cold February we had and the cold first week of March.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah.
did mess things up.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, like 2 weeks ago or something, it was really cold
Yeah.
out. Then it got really warm, and then we got all those fires and the wind. It's totally
Yeah,
nuts.
which, you know, the rain that we get today and the cool down that we had yesterday, of course, helping that fire. I think our news was good, wasn't it? On those fire stories this morning, that those things were starting to get
Some good, yeah.
under
Yeah,
control.
some good
Wait,
ones.
did you
Paul,
just
come
see
back over.
producer Paul came in?
Paul, read it in your accent.
Oh, I don't have a very good accent, but somebody Irish from Scotland.
Is it Richard?
Richard
Richard
McGregor.
McGregor Nash.
Good morning
Now,
to
if he-
you in
I
Scotland.
don't know. I mean,
He's watching us from Scotland?
Yes.
I
For
don't
real?
know.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
That sounds like a rod on the road to me.
I think so.
Paul.
I get to come on that
Do
one.
we have a budget for that? Hey, I saw Chris
my
McGinnis
goodness.
wandering around. Does he have time to pop in and say hi? Or is he doing traffic hits? Do we know?
And P.S. Before he pops in, I'm going to the coast this weekend.
Oh, you are?
What's that going to be like?
Where
Is it going to be?
where are you going? Do you mind telling us? Central or North? Or?
Actually, I think I'm going to Cape Mears.
Oh, okay.
I've
Nice.
never been to Cape Mears, but I'm also going to visit a buffet somewhere.
It's still whale watching season.
You guys
isn't
look
it?
at Newport this
Is that right?
morning. Look at how beautiful the sunrise is.
Oh,
The sky
gorgeous.
is
Goodness.
pretty.
Oh, wow.
Super pretty.
Anima says, good morning from Nova Scotia.
Holy cow.
Oh, Kristen's asking, Rod, do you think we're going to have a hot summer? Have you started to put together that outlook?
No, I haven't. But
Get to it.
That was in our show yesterday or the day before because of some of the fires we've had.
Yeah.
And so I would tell you the early NOAA/National Weather Service outlooks almost generically just go warm and dry for much of the country, certainly here on the West Coast this summer. But I say almost generically because the fact is, you know, a normal summer, the climate average, which will be reset in the year 2020, has us at roughly a dozen 90-degree days each summer. But don't you feel like the new norm is more like
Yes.
20?
You know, you talk to
90-degree days?
firefighters, and that is
Right?
what you continually hear. I mean, you talk to firefighters, and that is what they say, is that
Yeah.
they keep seeing this, and they're
getting hotter
thinking
and
it's
hotter.
the new norm. And then you see stuff like from Paradise in California, those deadly,
Yeah.
fires that
Wildfires,
just
yes.
totally swept through entire neighborhoods. And when you hear about that, I mean,
I know.
that's scary stuff.
It is.
So one of my larger point is there's a forecaster now, you almost have to have something really concrete to say it's not going to be a hotter than normal summer because that seems to be such a growing pattern. Of course, we set the record with 90-degree days just last year, the most we've
Hey,
ever had.
real quick, I want to say hello to Paula Marie. Come
she
to
at?
Estacada. It's a
Estacada.
nice
Didn't you go out there?
town.
Weren't you out
Yeah.
there a
We were
couple
live
weeks
in
ago?
Estacada.
Where
That
were you,
was,
Paula Marie?
Yeah, several weeks ago we were in the downtown area. I did have some food there. Had some wonderful
had some food
white
there.
bean and navy soup.
You
I remember.
remember
They had the little
specifics.
sign out on the sidewalk that said white bean navy or soup, ham, whatever it's called. I hadn't had that forever, so I had a cup and it was delicious.
But we can go back to Estacada.
We can go back to us.
No, I want you to go to Battleground because that's going to be my new hometown.
Quick story about Battleground.
So, yes.
So, my old neighbor loves to go to these small little holes in the wall to get lunch, Keith.
Okay.
So I go with Keith, and we were up in Battleground. We go in, I don't know if this place is still there. It was in the old historic little downtown strip. And we went in, and I asked, and they had chili on the menu, and I asked, what type of chili do you have? And the waiter says, I'll be right back. And he comes back and he says, Nally's. Well, it didn't really register to me what Nally's chili was until all of a sudden the kitchen door swung open and I saw this big can opener opening up this gallon can of Nally's chili.
Oh, that's
And I'm
funny.
like, oh, Nally's.
That's hilarious.
But there are good places to eat in Battleground.
Darlene suggests Sandy. Hey, we need to get
Is
Chris.
it room?
Oh,
you wanna,
Chris,
you want a mimosa?
here.
Let's just
Do you-
squeeze
here,
in.
We
do
should go to Sandy.
I'll just take the bottle. How about that?
Go for it. Grab it.
I'm gonna do this.
Chris, what's going on in your world?
Because the drive's not very good right. Oh wait,
Oh,
that's not a
no.
good. That's not a
There's
good.
an extra glass.
Let's not try that.
There's an extra glass.
You want a quick mimosa or at least some orange juice?
Oh well, yeah, I don't know. Does the boss okay?
join the party.
Oh,
Well, we're all, they better be okay with it because we all
maybe
have
they're
one.
not. Maybe it's okay. Is it Facebook okay? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, come on,
Instagram crowd says yes.
Guinness, take a
Okay.
sip. So I'm
That's a
just
good
going to make
point
you a
right
weak
there.
one.
Are you gonna? Okay,
Fire
week
us
one.
at the same
All right.
Brenda's was up to about here with champagne.
Well, I'm looking forward
It's a
to.
little orange juice heavy
I-
for
well-
my taste.
Do you want to share my
No, I'm good. I got.
chair?
You know, I'm gonna have to bounce back up anyway, and this is
Yeah,
is
Chris,
good
what's going on with
recovery from the
traffic?
Shamrock
Right.
run here. I'm kind of like going into the deep
Oh,
spots here. And,
Here, passing
yeah,
it.
thank
Passing
you
it. There you
guys.
go.
Well, I can tell you this: if you're about to hit the road from the west side, the Sunset's a mess.
Yeah, well,
That's
look at
the only-
that.
happened there?
Yeah, so I don't know. There's like a 2-3 car wreck right past Sylvan's, so the left lane and the center
boy.
lane's still blocked. I can't cycle through the cameras right now, but it's like 2.5 miles of parking lot.
Jeez.
And I mean it like I say that.
Oh, my goodness.
Once in a while, but I mean, I really mean it this time. So if you can skip the Sunset inbound, try Barnes to Burnside, but that too is getting pretty busy. So that's the only trouble spot on the roads right now. Happy to tell you that. The rest of the road Friday
that-
morning commute looks good.
Could those people be sitting there up to an hour, do you think? Is it that bad?
Well, you know, if they don't get it clear, so it's been there a
Yeah.
good half an hour already. So yeah, we're
Ugh.
kind of watching it there, wondering what's going on. No word on any injuries, but yeah, kind of.
All right.
Yeah,
fun
doesn't
to
look
see.
good.
Chris, on a lighter note, you have any fun weekend plans?
A little sleep.
Yeah,
Maybe.
catching
A
up.
little sleep?
Is little Patrick going to let you?
Well,
Daddy
so
here.
we stopped giving him the big thing that he's been doing lately is biting off the nipples on his bottles.
He bites them
He
off?
bites them off, and I don't know how we got from like sippy cup back to bottle, but we somehow regressed. He's almost 2 years old now. He'll be 2 in May, and we went from sippy cup to bottles, and he started biting the nipples off, and then those little binkies, you know, those pacifiers. He was biting those off so that we
And
would
those
just
are
see the.
thick.
Well, that,
Good
and we're
teeth.
sitting there looking at it like, oh my goodness, you know, that's a choking hazard. So
Yeah.
we're like, you know, freaking out over that. So we pulled those out, and that was like his cue to go to bed, right? The bottle and
sure.
the pacifier.
Yeah.
So he has been a pill to put down the last couple nights, but on the opposite side of that, 3 nights in a row now, he's slept completely through the night.
Whoa.
Cheers to
I know.
that.
Cheers
So
to
it's hard getting
that.
down, but I'll drink to that. We've got a whole, 8, 10, 12 months of lost sleep to catch up on.
You only
so-
have like 18 years to go. So.
But you know what? It does get better. As the one who has
Yeah.
grown to, it does get better.
Every phase changes, right? There's
Yes.
something else that's surprising. Well, I can say that we for daycare we had to write some letters to our children. So
Aw.
they were reading the letters to the kids today or yesterday, and so we just got a chance to kind of
sweet.
reflect a little bit and just think about how sweet and wonderful and then I closed with P.S. We'll get even one of these days.
There will be payback.
Oh yeah, and they're hell.
Oh,
Paybacks are hell, right?
Absolutely.
Our little ones just started eating some solid, pureed solid
Mm-hmm.
foods and stuff. So my mom's been making all kinds of organic, like sweet potato, like she'll mash it all up, and zucchini and lots of vegetables.
paint.
Yeah, well, they do love eating it. And they're messy with it. They love to just stick their hands in it. But
Yeah.
they're starting to sleep a little bit more.
That's good.
A little bit more.
How old are we now?
They're almost 8 months.
Almost 8 months.
So
that.
one's a much better sleeper than the other, but you could totally see the differences in them. But it's really cool to see the differences and the similarities. But I feel your pain, Chris. We're getting.
I must ask, by the way, as we're going through diapers by the hundreds and whatnot.
Oh, my goodness.
Remember the story here that there is a certain person at this desk who's never changed a diaper. So I think we should. I think Rod on the road should be Rod visit the newsroom of families with kids and learn
Rod
how
on
to
the
change
job
diapers.
is
Now,
what
you
it
know
is.
what I'm
I
going
like
to change
this.
my first diaper
I like this a
will be
lot.
when Natasha has her first child. It'd be my granddaughter or my grandson, and that would likely be my first
That's an excuse.
Come on now.
diaper change.
Wow.
Uncle Rod could help Ashley and Chris.
Yeah.
I don't
Could
even
make the
have
rounds
kids,
on your way into
and
work.
I've changed diapers.
Yeah, Rod.
Come on. I think we should put you to work. Come over and watch the twins for a couple hours, and that's your Rod on the job segment.
By the way,
Yeah, you live close, right?
This is an accomplishment. You guys are trying to make me feel bad?
Yeah. Oh,
It's
you
an
guys.
accomplishment. I've never changed a diaper.
Okay, I'll change the
Real quick,
subject.
Yeah.
What did you want to
No,
talk
I wanted
about?
to read a comment, a
Okay,
sweet
go
comment from Willow. She says, my beautiful grandmother, Anna Carter, and my wonderful grandfather, Albert, raised all 9 of their kids in Cape Mears, Oregon. We've all spent many hours visiting family, making fires, collecting agates, and building forts. Great memories to see the octopus tree, too. So maybe
Oh my
that's a
gosh.
suggestion for Christine.
I've heard about the octopus tree, and
Are
I
you
really
headed there
want
this weekend?
I'm going to Cape Mears, and I've never been there before. So, figured it's a nice little getaway.
Another little nook and cranny gem
Yeah,
along the
little
Oregon
one.
coast. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's super cool. Willow, thank you. Okay, Brenda, you want to close us out? We have like a minute left. What were you going to...
I just want to give Rod a hard time because that's what we do. You guys don't even know the half of it behind the scenes.
He's no
Oh,
angel.
man.
Ashley and I are always being called out by our viewers for
Yes.
giving you a hard time.
Thank you,
But
viewers.
it's very interesting because what you don't see are the little things
The
that happen
jabs?
before that
Oh.
he baits us into
Yes,
it.
he does. You are a pot stirrer. I'd call you another
are,
name,
and he's
but
got
I
that
can't.
little mischievous smile and a little gleam in his eye. He loves
Look
it.
at this. Get a close up as we close
You guys
up.
have no
Look at this
He's
face.
blushing
video
now.
or audio evidence to back up what
fine.
you're saying.
We will get proof and then
None.
we'll bring it to you guys. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in on Facebook, Instagram,
Cheers.
Twitter, and YouTube. Cheers to a long week
weekend.
that is
Cheers,
nearly
guys.
done.
Happy
Yes,
Friday.
cheers. Happy Friday.
And cheers to your brackets. May your favorite basketball teams go far and do well.
Go Oregon.
Yeah. And the Zags. Wow.
Yes, go Zags.